Hello and welcome to Delicious and Nutritious. My name is Chef Jerry Levine, and I'm joined with Marcia Richards, registered dietitian from Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital in the great town of Plymouth. A special thanks goes out to PACTV and the Center for Active Living for helping us bring this show to all of you. We're going to have Marcia's going to come on for a moment or two, and then we're going to go to our recipe. Marcia?
Okay, good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all. We've got a great show planned. Jerry's going to show us an awesome recipe on creating shish kebabs. And we're also going to talk about food safety, which is a very important public health concern for all of us. So let's go right to the recipe, and then I'll be back in a little while with some more information about that.
Cooking from the backyard. This is Chef Jerry, and we are going to make a grilled chicken shish kebab. Now, what are our ingredients to use grilled shish kebab? We have skinless, boneless chicken breasts. We have onions, turmeric. We have inside with the turmeric, we have some garam masala, one of my favorite spices. We have some kosher salt, a little bit of black pepper in the marinade, 3 cloves of garlic, half of an onion minced, very small, and 2 bay leaves. So, what do we do with our chicken? We take our chicken, we cut it into 1-inch cubes, and then we make our marinade, we put it in there, and this right here has been marinated since last night, so it's been marinated for about 12 hours. And, oh, does that smell good. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing, a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, perfect. Now, what do? We are using, our vegetables are red pepper, green pepper, and chunks of onion. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put it all together right now. Okay, we have our red pepper, and this will be the same for the green pepper. This happens to be just a slice of it. Now, one of the things that I want, and watch my hands, because this is the size that we want right here. And we now have 4 pieces, and we're going to do the same thing with our green pepper. And you notice how sharp my knife is? One, I'm not cutting my fingers, and secondly, I am making nice even cuts, and that goes over here with the green. And we have onions, and this is a chunk of onion that I cut. It's an eighth of a quarter of a piece of onion, and we have cut it, and I'm going to break it apart, and you're going to see the pieces that I'm going to be using right here. There we go. Look at that, a thing of beauty. And we've got a few more of those. All right, now, I like uniformity. So what we're going to do is I've already made up 3 shish kebabs, and I'm going to try to duplicate exactly the way I have set up on those 3 shish kebabs. What am I using for a skewer? I am using a metal skewer. I like metal, and I like metal because it doesn't burn, for one thing, but I also like a skewer that has a flat surface here, because that means that whatever I put on here, it's not going to rotate as it would with a piece of wood. So let's do this. All right, first thing we start with is we're going to get a piece of chicken, and we're going to put our piece of chicken right on here. Now we want it nice and uniform. So I'm just going to do a quick measurement right there. Okay, that's a piece of chicken, and we do a piece of onion. Watch how I'm doing this, because what I really want to do is I don't want to stick the skewer through my fingers. Now watch what's going on. Look at that. It went through the pepper and it didn't go into my finger. Now we need a little piece of red here. So we put a piece of red on there and it goes on there like that. Okay, let's get another chicken. And we put a piece of chicken on there and a piece of onion on there. And notice it's still not, still haven't put it through my finger, so that's a good thing. There we go. And we're rolling right along. And now we just, another piece of chicken. And a piece of onion. And a piece of pepper. And another piece of pepper. Another piece of chicken. Yeah, that was a little piece, so we're going to put another piece in here. There we go. Onion, green pepper, red pepper. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 chickens. And do we have uniformity? Look at that, a thing of beauty. There we go. Okay, we are now ready to go to the grill. Okay, most important is to have a really clean grill. Otherwise, food sticks to it. And if I do this correctly, what I've done is I've heated the grill. I've got my metal brush here, and I am scraping away and cleaning. And the next thing I'm going to do after I do my scraping away is to take, I have a little bit of canola oil and a paper towel. So I put my paper towel in the canola oil and clean the grill. We're getting a little flare up, but that's no big deal. And the question is how warm or how hot do I want my grill? I want it kind of medium high. So this is a 3-burner gas grill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my center burner, which is basically where I'm going to cook, and I'm going to turn it down so it's below about medium, and then I'm going to take the 2 outer parts of my grill here and turn them down, but not quite as much as I've done with this. Now, we're going to let it settle down for a moment, and then I'm going to go get my shish kebabs, and I'm going to bring them out here, and we're going to start cooking. Okay, right now, we brought out our 4 shish kebabs, and don't they look lovely? I mean, look at the color combination, especially on the white plate. It's just really attractive. And so we open up our lid, and this is going to be the end that we are going to be able to hold. So we just take this right here, and we put that right there. We take this guy and put it right there. And this one gets it put right there. And right there. And we're going to set our timer on my watch. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to rotate my shish kebabs a quarter turn, about every 2 minutes. And, you know, you don't have to be that precise, but, okay, there we go. So we're going to let it go for 2 minutes. and we're going to let it go for 2 minutes. Okay, now we're going to do a quarter turn. Well, let's do a half a turn. And there we go. Look, 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 it's starting to cook. And we are going to do our marinade sauce, which has a little bit of butter, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of turmeric in here, some black pepper, and that's it. And and why am I doing this? I'm adding additional flavor. There we go. And we will close this down, and it's going to cook some more. Okay, we are now ready to take the shish kebabs off, and I pronounce them done. Take a look at the nice coloration that we're getting, and we are putting them on jasmine rice. Now look at the way this looks. Isn't that beautiful? And the final one goes on. And look at that. Now, jasmine rice was cooked in a rice cooker. In order to make the rice a little bit more interesting, I added some roasted sesame oil and cooked it following the direction of the rice cooker. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve some rice and some shish kebab to my wife, and we are going to have her taste, and let's see. Okay, we are now going to take and put some rice on our plate, and we're going to take some shish kebab. And one of the things about shish kebab, you want to remember that this is a metal skewer. Metal skewers tend to get hot, so in order to protect ourselves, I am using a pot holder because I prefer not burning my fingers. So let's see what we can do here, and that certainly is hot. And we are going to take this and get some rice on the plate, and some more rice on the plate, and some more rice on the plate, and some more rice on the plate, and one more shot of rice. Okay, now look at the lovely color of that rice. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to put our plate there. We're going to take our shish kebab, and we are going to look at the colors. The green, the red, the color of the turmeric, and on the lovely rice. And we now have a plate that I'm going to serve to my wife. Along with a fork. There you go. Maybe a little warm. Okay. Now, didn't that look attractive?
Yes, it did.
And it's really simple. You just follow the directions, and we will be happy to provide you with a recipe.
You make it look so easy.
It actually is easy, and all you really need to do is go step by step by step. And it is extremely easy. The most important thing, and I want to emphasize this, and Marcia's going to talk about this also, is that chicken has an issue, and it's called salmonella. And I am very careful not to cross-contaminate. And if I'm the white platter that I made the shish kebabs on, I used a different one to put the rice on. I would never take a raw chicken and put it with anything that's going to go in anyone's mouth. And salmonella is a problem. And it's not found in all chicken or all eggs, but you need to be cautious about it. And temperature is really critical. So I'm going to now turn this over to Marcia, who's going to teach us about food safety.
Excellent. So I did want to mention how our whole show today is devoted to safety. Listening to Jerry's video, we talked about the safety and how to handle that skewer, how to clean the grill, how to remove things without burning oneself. So safety is a big issue. I'm going to focus on food safety. So the food supply in the US is probably the safest in the world, but disease does happen. If a disease-causing bacteria or pathogen contaminates food, it can cause what's called a foodborne illness, also known as food poisoning. In the US annually, about 48 million people experience some sort of a foodborne illness. This equates to about 1 in 6 Americans. So in our group today, one of us will develop a foodborne illness this year based on those statistics. Jerry and I want to reduce that to 0. These illnesses result in 128,000 hospitalizations and 3,000 deaths. So it is a concern. When a person does experience food poisoning or a foodborne illness, they usually become sick within 1 to 3 days. A lot of times I think people think they're going to get sick within 20 minutes. So 3 days after eating something, they get sick. So they might not really understand that what they got sick from. It can occur as quickly as 20 minutes or up to 6 weeks later. Typical symptoms are vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. People might also experience flu-like symptoms, a fever, a headache, or a body ache. Most healthy people will recover from a foodborne illness in a short period of time. Some, unfortunately, might develop more serious health problems. Some groups that are at a higher risk are those with weakened immune systems, like during pregnancy, young children, older adults, or people that have a weakened immune system, maybe due to an existing illness or a medication that they may take. I want to talk about 4 simple steps that all of us can take to keep us safe. The 4 steps, and I'll talk about each of them individually, are clean, separate, cook, and chill. So try to remember that. Clean, separate, cook, chill. So when we talk about cleaning, you want to make sure your cutting boards, your dishes, your utensils, countertops have all been cleaned with hot soapy water or an antibacterial type detergent or wipe. Jerry mentioned how he used a separate plate for serving versus the one that raw chicken was placed on. The contaminants that could have been in the chicken that were killed during cooking could remain on that plate. So it's very important that you either wash that plate or you get a new one. Never serve cooked food on the plate that raw food was on. Wash your hands. Warm water, soap for at least 20 seconds. I'm sorry, it says 20 minutes. 20 seconds before and after handling food. Remember, always wash your hands after the bathroom, changing a diaper, handling a pet, petting a pet. Use paper towels to clean up kitchen surfaces. If you do use a cloth towel, you need to make sure you launder them often. If you use that cloth towel to wipe up raw chicken juice and then use that to wipe your cutting board, you've now possibly cross-contaminated your cutting board. Rinse your fruits and vegetables under running tap water. including those with skins and rinds that are not eaten. When you're touching them, you could transfer any germs to your hands. And also think about cleaning the lids on cans before opening. So clean. Wet things, soap, scrub, rinse, and dry. Separate is our second. You want to separate raw meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs from other foods, especially in your grocery shopping cart, in your grocery bags, and also in your fridge. Raw meat and that could possibly drip, you don't want to put that on a shelf above lettuce or vegetables or fruits in your refrigerator. Keep that in a bottom shelf so if there is any drippage, it doesn't drip into your other food. Consider this when you're packing your groceries as well, and when you're putting them in your shopping cart. Think about what could potentially contaminate a food, especially that is not cooked. Have separate cutting boards for your raw meats, poultry, seafood. I have separate ones for fruits, the vegetables, for fish, and they're all labeled, they're different colors. And I try to keep them separate, always washing them. And never place cooked food on a plate that held raw food unless it's been washed thoroughly. So be sure you don't run into any risk of cross-contamination. Cook your food to the right temperature. Best way to know is to use a food thermometer. If you're cooking sauces or soups or gravies, bring them to a boil when you're reheating them. If you're microwaving, cover the food, stir it, and rotate it for even cooking. Chill. Refrigerate or freeze your perishables within 2 hours of cooking or buying. You want to refrigerate within 1 hour if it's 90 degrees or higher outside. When our temperatures are hotter, you need to get things into the fridge earlier than that standard 2 hours. Your fridge should be below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and your freezer should be below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. You should not defrost on top of the counter. You should defrost in the fridge, in cold water, or in the microwave. So those are some basics about safe food handling and cooking and temperatures. And we do have a few minutes for some questions, if anybody has one.
I have a question. What do you think about putting cutting boards and sponges or sponges in the dishwasher to be cleaned?
I'm going to let Jerry take the sponge. I have no trouble. I like to put my cutting boards in the dishwasher because the water is good and hot. I'm going to add to your sponge question for Jerry too, that I've heard people say they put their sponges in the microwave for a minute to disinfect them. And I haven't looked at the research on whether this is a good practice or not. I'm not sure if you've got any input on that, Jerry.
Well, I have not read anything recently on the issue about putting sponges in microwaves or dishwashers. But I will say this, and that is, if you're going to try to heat a sponge, make sure it's wet. And the reason I'm saying that is that when you put it in the microwave, you're going to turn the water into steam. The steam is going to be hot, and that is going to sanitize the microwave. But I would say a minimum of 1 inch. It is really critical because microwaves will get rid of any kind of bacteria given enough time. And the issue is with a sponge, there's going to be some liquid. The liquid could contain bacteria. So if you're concerned about the bacteria, microwave it. You watch the steam come off of that, and I would say it's going to be safe.
Yep. And be careful when you take it out because it's going to be hot. I would
think.
Oh,
yes.
Microwaving a sponge. And sponges are relatively inexpensive. I guess when in doubt, throw it out.
Right.
I like
Right.
that.
Yep. And one more question.
Another question?
I don't know.
Okay, well, actually, I want to compliment Marcia on her comments and the thoroughness that she did with sanitation. I think you brought up some extremely good points that are really critical to prevent food poisoning. The issue with cross-contamination, the issue with proper temperature maintenance. I really like the statement about how long after you pick up your hamburger it needs to be refrigerated. And your points are very important. And the idea of defrosting something on the counter is not a good idea. And people forget that it's sitting on the counter. All of a sudden, it's 2 hours later, and they say, "Oh, well, that's going to be fine." Well, it isn't going to be fine.
I know.
And it is critical that you don't do things like that. I believe Marilyn has a question. Marilyn, you're muted.
Just a quick question. If you decide to use pork or steak instead of chicken for your shish kebab, do you still have the same concerns with cross-contamination?
I can probably answer that, or Marcia, would you like to do that?
Nope, you take it.
Okay, at one time, pork was a real problem because it had a pathogen in it. But the pork nowadays in our country is really safe. I would say, and Marcia brought up the point about using a thermometer, and I would say cook the pork to 145, 150, maybe a little bit more, and that should be perfect.
Perfect.
The same thing with beef. You want to remember, we don't eat undercooked hamburger anymore. And so I would make sure that you use that handy dandy thermometer. It's a wonderful thing.
Excellent advice. We thank all of you for being here with us. We want to thank all of you, PACTV, BID Plymouth, and also the Center for Active Living, because without all of you, Delicious and Nutritious would not be happening. Jerry and I hope you enjoyed this month's recipe, and we hope that you'll try to make it yourself. And we wish you a happy and a healthy day. Take care, everybody.
Hello, thanks for watching. We've moved. Episodes of Delicious and Nutritious can now be found on the Local Scene YouTube channel. And while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe. See you there.